I don't read too much into him yelling at Blake Snell. Harper and Snell are friends, but that was a bad one. It doesn't seem like it's going to be a prolonged one. Who knows on the season with that thumb? We haven't gotten a definitive answer from the Phillies yet. Ruben Amaro Jr., of course, did lots of work at the Phillies. Now he's with us, our gain, MLB Network, and he says hello. Ruben, nice to have you with us. That was a big blow. Phillies had a good weekend, too. 3 out of 4 in San Diego after a bad couple games in Texas. Still playing very well off that Girardi firing. But this is a big hit. What's your take? Let me get your sense on that first.
Yeah, Chris, great to be with you. I mean, they have been playing great baseball, and for them to actually come back and win, those 2 games. Obviously they won the game that he was hit in, and then the following game, there's no question about it that this is a huge loss for them. But the sky has not completely fallen. I mean, he's a quick healer. We don't know when he's going to be back. I mean, he's an unbelievable force in that lineup. But there's a couple of things I think that will be a residual effect of this. One, they're going to let Castellanos probably end up being going in the DH role, and I think that's good. That's a good news for them as far as their defense is concerned. There's some outfield defense issues for this club, and I really believe that Castellanos is going to thrive much better in that DH role rather than having to be out there at right field all the time.
That's an excellent point. You're right. That will be a factor. That's a plus for him. But, Harper, he's out a long time. That's tricky. It's going to wear on him a little bit. All right, your takeaway, what'd you learn most of all about Astros Yankees in the 4 games in the Bronx? What'd you take out of the split between those 2 teams?
Well, number one, they're 2 great teams. They're very, very good ball clubs, obviously. I think more than anything else, it's going to come down to, pitching. Pitching always rules the day for me. This is going to be, at some point, these 2 teams are going to play in the ALCS, I have to believe, and it's going to come down to who's playing their best baseball and who's pitching the best. I mean, just a really exciting ball club. They're very complete. They do a lot of different things well. They have good starting pitching. They have good bullpens. They play excellent defense, and they got a lot of firepower. Obviously, 2 solid managers, one who's got a little bit more experience, obviously, and one, a bazillion games in Dusty. But I will tell you that this is going to be an exciting race, and it's going to be neat to watch these 2 ball clubs get after it because they're 2 really good ball clubs.
Would you still be worried about the Yankee penchant as far as scoring runs being generated almost too much by the long ball? Would that concern you some? Yeah,
I think it does concern me a little bit. But I think at the end of the day, they're still playing in ballparks that need the home run. I mean, when they're home, both these clubs, their home ballparks. Obviously, Houston, I think, has a little bit more well-rounded approach than the Yankees do. Obviously, Yankees have the firepower. Now, my biggest concern for the Yankees is their health because they have had issues with their health. Stanton's been out. Judge has been out at times. You have guys who are maybe a little longer of tooth as far as their age is concerned, and that's always been a problem for the Yankees. If they can stay healthy, that team is going to be a tough team to beat. But again, Houston's been there. They know how to do it. They're a little younger. They can do it a little in a more complete way offensively. It will be interesting to see what happens at the end of the day.
All right, Mariner's big problem with the Angels is because he put the opener in there on basically late Saturday night, early Sunday morning, Nevin. So once they saw that there was going to be an opener, they knew there was going to be some balls thrown at some Mariner hitters. And the Mariners said, geez, can you orchestrate it a little better than that? So that bothered them about Nevin. What's your take on that as far as how the Angels responded to Trout from Saturday night, Ruben? What do you see there?
So 2 things. One, the schedule's a problem. When you have to play that many times in that short of a period of time, you're going to get some emotions. I think that's a tough part of this thing. As far as what Nevin, I have a ton of respect for Phil Nevin, but there's a lot more subtle ways to deal with this than the way that he did deal with it. I mean, obviously, putting the opener in there and changing things up, I just don't feel that was the way and the way to get it done. I do believe, and I'm a proponent of this, you have to protect your players, and I believe that Phil Nevin was doing that. I think that there's a more cunning, there's a more subtle way to be able to do it. For him to have switched to openers, I'm not sure if that's the ticket. I would not have done that had I been the manager at the time.
Interesting. And lastly, Dodgers and Braves. 3 excellent games down in Atlanta. I think the Dodgers kind of needed a big test like this. They went to San Francisco. They got swept. They haven't played San Diego very often. Pittsburgh beat them 5 out of 6. I think going down to Atlanta and playing 3 emotional games, 2 of which were on TV, Sunday night ESPN, and they walked out of there with 2 wins. I think that helps them in a long run. What's your take on that?
I agree with you, and they did it without Mookie Betts, right? But to me, he's one of the best players on the planet, and to be able to do that and play in Atlanta, it's a hostile environment there. It's not easy to win there. Atlanta loves playing there. I think it was an excellent test for the Dodgers. They came out playing very well. Again, 2 great teams, maybe the 2 best teams in the National League. It's something you could argue. Even though the Mets are playing excellent baseball, they still are the reigning champions, right? The Atlanta Braves. And they won that division several times. So a very, very good test for the Dodgers, for them to have bounced back and played the way they played. That tells you what kind of club they are.
100% right. Ruben, what gets you on again? Always a pleasure. Keep up the good work. Good to have you with us, the network. I appreciate you coming on here today.
Thanks for having me, Chris.